Hello and welcome to the program. I'm your host, Neal Howard, here on Health Professional Radio. I'd like to welcome Dr. Mark Sherwood to the studio. Returning guest, he's here today to talk with us about the Ketogenic Diet. He's the co-CEO of the Functional Medical Institute, a wellness-based medical practice in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Also the author of The Quest for Wellness, an Amazon bestseller. Welcome to the program, Mark.
Neal, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Well, as the co-CEO and founder of the Functional Medical Institute, this wellness-based medical practice in Tulsa, what services do you offer there? Are we talking simply hormone therapies or supplements, or is it a well-rounded practice when it comes to a healthy diet?
Well, certainly it's well-rounded. We like to focus on all four areas of the person: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. And we want a person to come in here that has the desire to be well. We do nutrition, we do hormones, we do body composition enhancement. What that means is teaching them to get more muscle and lose fat, thereby reducing the sizes of clothes, of course. And we kind of put it all together so that a person will be equipped and know how to handle themselves when they get out in the world, as we say.
Now, your services, are they geared more toward someone who wants to better their health, or say a kid who just wants to come in and start and is maybe late teens and launch a career of healthy eating and just go gung ho at it? I mean, who is the prime patient for your particular practice?
Well, it's twofold, Neal. Number one, in no particular order, the person who is 20, 30, 40 pounds or more overweight and just can't get it off and is carrying a little bit too much visceral fat, or as we like to say, Dunlap disease, if you want to be funny about it. And they just want to get it off and get their life back, get their health back. Their hormones are out of whack. And that's, people anywhere from 35 years of age up to, probably 60 or 65. We have some in the 70s as well. We are not per se a general pediatric practice, although we do have people that are under 18, as well as even college athletes and even professional athletes come to us that want to enhance their performance, and we do that through nutritional education. We put these really unique systems of supplementations on board in their life, and we see their performance just excel, whether it be on the football field or on the basketball court, because they have more explosion, more power, more muscle tissue.
What would you say is, I guess, a brief description of one of the best diets, or in your opinion, the best diet that you would talk about, say, at the Institute?
We promote the beneficial properties of what's called the ketogenic diet. It is a diet, and we don't even like that word diet. Let's just call it a ketogenic protocol, I guess. We manipulate the food that a person takes into the course of a day so that the body is forced to use its own fat as fuel. The benefits of that are multiple, and they include, but certainly not limited to, the following. A person does lose body fat while maintaining muscle tissue, and that's the best of all worlds. I believe we had a gentleman come in recently, and this is roughly a 3.5-4 month time period where he had lost over 20 pounds of muscle tissue and put on over 5 pounds lost over 20 pounds, of fat tissue and gained over 5 pounds of muscle tissue. He only had about an 18-pound switch in body fat, or in poundage loss, but his percent body fat loss was over 10%, which was incredible. His waist trimmed down, his shoulders got a little more broad, and he got bigger. The ketogenic diet is beneficial for that reason, of course, but also there is a lot of safety mechanisms. When the body is operating under a ketogenic style where fat is the predominant fuel source of the mitochondria, we know that cell replication slows down. So when a cell becomes damaged, and they all do, through excess free radicals or other stressors in our lives, if the body is reproducing so fast, so many cells turned over, that cell which is damaged is not going to get fixed or not going to get destroyed. So therefore you have the potential for a cell which is damaged to continue to replicate. Well, we know that a damaged or mutated cell replicating is called cancer.
Yes.
And we understand now through science that a cancer cell cannot adapt to using fat as its primary fuel source. Most cells in the body, which are normal, can operate on either glucose or ketones. Those are those ketone bodies that are metabolites of your own fat being broken down or fat being brought in from the outside. So a cancerous cell, the only way it can operate is in a glucose-dominated or carbohydrate-dominated environment. So you effectively put yourself in a position to eliminate the excessive cell turnover and to eliminate turnover of damaged cells. So we're talking a very immune-enhancing environment within the body.
Does the ketogenic diet eliminate or sugar in order to make fat that source of fuel, or is sugar intake simply not an issue?
Yeah, great question. We know that the brain has to have glucose to operate on. So the body has this innate ability when sugar or glucose is not available to convert existing tissues into glucose. And it does that through a process called gluconeogenesis or new glucose. And ketones are necessary to make that happen. So a body for a time can operate without sugar coming in by creating its own sugar. When a person is fully ketogenic adapted or fat adapted, as we like to call it, they can effectively take in 15, 20, or even up to 25 grams of sugar a day from good sources such as honey and dates and fruits and things of that nature, and they'll be just fine.
Once we've got our body accustomed to this diet, how far-reaching are the benefits? Or do we have to maintain this diet at a constant level, or is it something that we can maintain by not eating the same types of foods? How does that work? And is all this explained in your book, The Quest for Wellness?
Yeah, it is in there, Neal. Some great explanations. And in a nutshell, here's what it looks like. A person is eating a lot of fat. Those can be avocados, nuts, nut butters, eggs, fish, chicken, the coarsest fat there, oils such as olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, and they're eating a moderate amount of protein, and that's going to be good grass-fed, grass-finished beef, wild-caught fish, free-range chickens, and good quality green vegetables. And that's what it looks like at the end of this road. A person is able to sustain that, and those nutrient foods that are food nutrients that I just pointed out to you are readily available to really everybody. Now, with the exception of some of the grass-fed, grass-finished meats, those can sometimes be hard to find. And in that case, just do the best you can.
Yeah.
And try to be relatively clean. So, in a nutshell, if a person can maintain roughly a 60% fat intake, about a 20% carbohydrate intake, or even down to 15, and then about a 20-25% fat or protein intake, in that ratio, they're going to be gold as far as the style with which their body is operating in. Very safe way to do this, very healthy, very sustainable, because fat is a very satiating type of food. It makes you feel full.
Now, at your website, I think it's fmidr.com. Talk about your website and talk about whether or not we'd find some tips at this website on preparing some of this ketogenic food.
Yeah, there is some recipes on there readily available. There are also some very, very key blogs that talk about low-carb diets, ketogenic diets. There is a lot of tips on there about things such as intermittent fasting, which will help a person kind of adapt the body quicker to a fat-adapted system. The website is full of a lot of videos that we spend about 10 minutes or so explaining, and there's links to a YouTube channel as well that has more lengthy explanations from my beautiful bride and I. So plenty of information on there. It comes out very fast-paced, at least once or twice a week, something new. So there would be enough information on there for all the listeners to have to make them busy for the next couple of years, probably.
What would you tell other healthcare professionals when considering maybe stepping away from the traditional method of weight loss and adopting some of these ketogenic modalities that you offer there at the Functional Medical Institute?
I would just say this. We have to look at the results and kind of to steal a line from Dr. Phil, how's it working for you?
Yeah.
You know, with these current diets we're having out here, the reason we're having so many is because it's simply not working. Our population statistics around the world is getting obscenely obese, and it's because of the poor food we're putting in our mouth. And if we just stop a second and quit doing the same old thing, expecting a different result, and we know what that is a definition of insanity.
Yeah.
So we need to change it, and we encourage all healthcare professionals who are listening to absolutely embrace this lifestyle, look at it strongly, the science backs it up, and let's live this thing out so our patients can see health as well as just hear about it.
Great. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard, in studio with Dr. Mark Sherwood, co-CEO of the Functional Medical Institute and author of the book, The Quest for Wellness, in studio this afternoon talking about the ketogenic diet and the benefits that go along with it. It's been great having you in studio today with us, Mark.
Neal, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm, and you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.